No, now we're on. Now we are on. Hi, everyone. Technical strangeness, high strangeness going on tonight because of the full moon.
Oh, is that what it is?
It is. Yeah. Because it's a full moon in Gemini, so that is the communications.
Oh, communication.
And getting out of the wild-ass Sagittarius, but going into Sagittarius, and then Gemini.
Oh, yeah, look, we are
Gemini
on.
moon coming in.
Oh, my God, finally. Sorry, guys. I don't know. We could not see ourselves, so we had no idea if we were on or not.
Everybody say hi to Baby Spice. Hi. Look at that.
She doesn't appreciate being called Baby Spice.
She sure does.
Look how many people are in the house. Let's say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Look at, we have Daniel and Bernadette, Taylor, Jaguar, Amy, Shelley, Kayla, Bernadette, Arthur, Baron.
What's up? What's up, everyone?
Hi, everyone.
Namaste, greetings, blessings from us to you, wherever it is that you are. Give us a shout about where, what city, or what country that you're watching us from. Some people don't come on chat. They just like to watch. They don't want to type anything in. But I would love for you guys to say hi wherever you are. We've had South Africa. We've had Japan. We've had England. I think Georgia, the country.
Yeah.
What else?
I think we
Hawaii.
Had Cape Cod.
Cape Cod, South Africa.
Several times, actually.
So it's the full moon. Welcome to the full moon of Psychic Sundays. I'm Riz.
Is everybody feeling the full moon? I'm definitely feeling it.
I didn't realize it was the full moon. So this is where people, because there's a full moon in Gemini, and that is, of course, the sign of communication. So this is where you got to be really careful about how you're communicating to each other and to yourself.
Yes.
You know, think of the signs and the moon going in different signs. Think of that as seasons. For example, we have spring, summer, winter, and fall on Earth. And there's the seasons of the cosmic kind, which are where the moon, what position the moon is in, what position the sun is in. And those are a different kind of energy. So we know when it's fall and spring and summer and winter, what to wear, what foods to eat are natural to those seasons. And you feel different in every season. Just like you notice you feel different in every day of the week. All the days have a feel. Sunday has a feel. Monday has a feel.
It does.
There was an episode of Seinfeld. I've been teaching this for years. And then there was an episode of Seinfeld where they started talking about this. And they talked about how every day has a feel except for Tuesday. They're like, Tuesday has no feel. So it was an episode of Seinfeld. But I actually have been saying that for years. So that's why I've held my channeling circle, the Circle of Light, for so many years. We held it on a Tuesday. Do you even know this?
Why? I didn't know that was the reason.
Okay, well, the reason is that my mentor and great teacher, Alex Murray, Trance Channel Psychic Medium, who's now on the other side, he held his circle in New York City on Tuesdays. And after many years, I asked him, why did you hold it on Tuesdays? And he said, it's a very neutral day. It's a very neutral night. Not a lot of people have plans on a Tuesday. Monday, they'll have a plan because it's the start of the week. They want to do something fun. Obviously, the weekend and Friday and Thursday. But Tuesday was this kind of neutral space. And so he held a channeling circle then. So then I, in honor of him, when I became a channeler, I started doing mine on Tuesdays. And so, you know, in our house for Tuesdays for a decade, we had our circle. Mm-hmm. And now I feel like that teaching expands into months have certain feels. The seasons that are changing, the weather is changing, of course, that has a feeling. But as you become more sensitive psychically, you'll start to feel the full moon more, or you'll start to connect the dots more. So we're stepping into Sagittarius season. If you're a Sag, high five. My fellow fire signs, let me know if you're a Sag. I'd love to say hello and happy birthday to you.
Well, welcome to Psychic Sundays. This is Riz, your neighborhood psychic medium and trance channel. Mm-hmm. And I am Oriah, Lady O, and I'm an intuitive empath. And we ask people to tell us where they're from and look at all the different places.
Let's say hi, Toronto, Canada, Indiana, wow,
Jamaica, Louisiana, Virginia, Ohio, the Caribbean,
Trinidad and Tobago, wow,
Wisconsin,
TNT.
Wow.
Well, greetings, everybody. From the Caribbean, right? Of
well,
course.
we're signing in from Southern California, Los Angeles, California, and we're just starting to get that little tiny bit of cold It's a big deal for us, obviously. Like, we freak out basically. But I'm kind of jealous that you guys in the East Coast and in the cooler regions, you're experiencing real winter.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you guys feel about that. I don't know if you feel the same sentiment that I do about it.
Well,
but
you know, when
think
you
it's
move,
so fun.
well, I grew up on the East Coast in New York, and the seasons are like clockwork on the solstice, you know, and
Right.
the equinox. They just happened. Summer turns
incredible.
to fall.
Right.
Halloween was always cold. Thanksgiving was always cold. It snowed usually at Christmas.
Yeah.
But when I moved to California all those years ago, I learned like it was the seasons are subtle here, and you can drop in and you can actually, you do feel this shift of the season here, except now cold is what, 60 degrees, right?
Yeah, that's cold for me. Like, I'm cold.
You lose your East Coast credibility card when you get cold at 60 degrees. So
Yeah.
I lost it a long time ago.
Right.
No regrets. I'm here. Let's see who else is saying hello from Peru. Really? Wow. Hola, ¿cómo está? Oh my God. It's definitely a Sag out there. Okay, somebody loves your hair. I love your hair, dear.
Oh, yes.
Your hair's looking amazing.
I went a little blonder.
Well, you're showing your Danish roots.
That's true.
So let's talk about this moon, because it's very interesting to me that as the nights are getting longer and the days are getting shorter in this season, that you take the time for yourselves, guys, to cozy up. And I hope that you're cozying up with us tonight, because this is a time, Psychic Sundays, that's live. We're here at 7 o'clock in LA, so it's the evening, and it may be evening or really late where you are. And this is a time for you to drop in, because as I do readings throughout the evening, we're connecting through this camera. And even if you're not watching it live, you're still kind of watching it live, right? Because it could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're still here listening to me in the moment. And it's because that energy that's projected in this moment is eternal. Your vibrations go out forever. So it's important for you to understand that when you drop in this way, it's not just me who's giving readings. It's that you're joining this circle of light, circle of psychic connection. There's circuit that is going through the airwaves. There's no distance between us. It's instantaneous. The power of thought and the speed of thought is instantaneous. Not speed of light is nothing compared to the speed of psychic thought. You know what I mean?
It's true. And you know, when we first started this show, we never really knew how long we were going to go. We didn't know if it was going to be short or long or what, but we always kind of veered around 2 hours. And
we flow around that, an hour and a half to 2 hours. So we don't know what it's going to be tonight. We're just going to flow with it. And we'd love to hear from you guys. And listen, let's talk about the readings. So I just flow with what comes to me. I know you guys have questions that you want to ask or topics you want to talk about. And when I kind of scroll through the chats, it's like whatever jumps out at me. And you also have Super Chat, so you can pay to have a question go to the top of the list, but you don't have to buy a reading. I still do an even number of people who purchase questions and those who don't. Now, that being said, if you're new to Psychic Sundays, welcome, because guys, all of you have been here before. Let's give a chance to the new people who are coming and joining us, because they should have a chance also to ask questions. So I'm happy to help you guys. And how are you feeling with the moon?
I have a love-hate relationship with the moon.
You do?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of us.
I'm learning so much about you on this podcast.
Yeah, I do. There's times where I'm like, I feel rock and roll. Like I feel like it's sourcing me. And there's other times I want to hide under the bed, honestly.
Oh, because it affects you. That's why it's a love-hate.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Why don't you share with everybody your event that you just did?
Did you guys watch the 7 Spirit Guide night? So last weekend here in LA, Sunday night, we did an event called Consciousness Unlocked. And it was the first time that I channeled 7 spirit guides in front of people. I've done it in private amongst the family and at home. But I was getting the message that it was time for people to experience what it's like to have many guides come through one after the other. So it was a 2-hour event. 7 guides came in. We had, of course, Red Eagle and Phineas. We had Goddess Ishel, who is the moon goddess of fertility from South America. Edgar Allan Poe. We had...
Erica can put the link in the...
Yeah, watch the link. So each guide came through, and one after the other, delivering a transmission and a message that was, we realized, was in order of the chakras, the seven chakras.
That was so fascinating.
And then we put it together, and Red Eagle had mentioned this to us, and Red Eagle came in at the end for the crown chakra.
And Phineas Quimby was the first guide, and he represents the root chakra, and it went all the way up to Red Eagle, who represents the crown chakra. It was so organized, and we had no idea that they did that little kind of curated organization for us. That was really cool.
We had to wait till after to have that realization, right? So check it out. If you weren't there live and you didn't catch the live stream, we do have, you can purchase to watch the video at a discounted rate. Yep. And the link is here. Erica, you'll put the link up for people? Yes. But when you watch this, guys, you have to drop in. You have to give yourself that experience of, let me just turn everything else off and drop in, because you will feel activated after.
So Arthur says Metatron was projecting some strong energy, and that is so true. I mean, I couldn't pick a favorite guide because I love them all. But when Metatron came through, I felt like it was like this cosmic event. Like everything was like different in the room. Like the room became different. Your face, I mean, it always changes. I mean,
someone had told me that my eyes turned different colors during that. I can't wait to watch the video to see that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how you change your face. Well, if you're feeling in the mood, we can start asking people to start posting their questions, and we can get a nice little healthy roll going. So everybody, you can start posting your questions. There's no theme tonight, so we can just, flow with it. And we are going to do mediumship. We could also do messages from animals, believe it or not, your loved ones, your pets.
Yes.
That have crossed over.
Sure.
Not only mediumship, but also Riz is a...
Lottery numbers?
You could try lottery numbers.
Combination lock combinations.
Erica was the first one.
Passcodes, passwords. One day it'll be like that. There'll be some psychics who are like, I can tell you the password of someone.
Oh my God. By the way, I'm doing my first not real sponsorship. I'm like trying out sponsorship. So this is my favorite drink, Olipop. It's all
Olipop. Oh, that's the sodas we have?
Yeah. It's our favorite drink.
Because it's a probiotic, prebiotic soda.
And I think it's low sugar or no sugar.
It's almost very like low. Very low, like 2 grams of sugar, I think.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, me too.
So,
tonight is a glasses night. That is for sure.
You know, it's funny. I have my tissues sitting over here because last week I kind of had the sniffles.
Yeah.
And I don't need it now.
Oh. So
and when I needed it, it wasn't there. And now I don't need it, and it's there.
And sometimes I don't.
I have to say the set looks amazing.
Aw, thank you.
I say that because this is your vision that comes to life, and we're in the holiday mood. I love the wreath back there on the fireplace.
I love it too.
We want to welcome you guys to our house. We started Psychic Sundays because we were having Sunday nights with just the family, and I would just be giving readings to the family or any friends who were over, and the fires would be lit, and we would just drop in. And then we decided, why not share it with you guys out there in the world? So here we are.
I want to give a couple little rules for your psychic questions.
Sure.
Make sure that when you're asking for a message from a loved one, you give the name.
The first name only, please.
Also, if your profile is kind of fun, it's like a silly name, we would prefer if you have your real name somewhere.
Tell us your name
in the
as well.
Question. Yeah.
Tell us your first name as well. Why? Because names carry a vibration. Also, when I'm connecting to someone on the other side, the name carries the vibration to ask if it's all right for them to come in. No medium can never, ever go to a medium that says, oh, I'll definitely connect to your loved one. It doesn't work that way. No medium has the power to call in someone from the other side just to drop in for a reading. If it is aligned for the highest good of all, then they will come through. And sometimes people that you don't expect come through. In fact, that happens a lot. And the reason for that is, one of the reasons, we don't know all the reasons, but one of the reasons is that there's no resistance to some of those people. Meaning, for example, you might go for a reading and you're like, I need to hear from my dad. I need to hear from my dad. And then like your sixth grade teacher will come through, or the neighbor that you liked from when you were in high school comes through who passed away. And you go, well, why? I mean, I like that person, but why did they come through? Because there was too much urgency around connecting with your dad or your loved one, too much grief or too much pain.
Yeah.
And this is why a medium comes in, because we are coming in from being in the middle. Remember something, guys. When we are alive, we're all on the same page. Frequency is here, okay? Now, when we die, cross over, go to the other side, what do you think happens to the person's soul? It doesn't drop in vibration. In fact, it raises quite a bit in vibration. It's a higher frequency. And what happens to us after they die? Because of grief and sadness, our frequency drops down. So now we're, in a sense, further apart. So the medium is in the middle, because the medium doesn't see your loved one as crossed over. We see them as just actually quite alive, and we connect to them. Our frequency isn't taken down by grief. Now, the best way for you to begin to feel your loved ones is to tune in more on the happy level of the good times with them, not the love that is the lacking, oh my God, I miss you so much and my life is so lonely without you, which it could be, but not 24/7. You also have the moments where you laugh at things that they said or remember something funny and it almost feels like they're right there. And that's because they are, because you took out the vibration of, or the resistance that is known as depression, anger, regret, fear, sadness about them passing. That being said,
I would like to say one thing before we dive into the questions.
yes, darling.
I also want to mention that we just had our Midnight Madness recording of Riz Trance channeling Ezekiel, the prophet Ezekiel.
Yes.
And my question, because I have an interview with him, and my question was about Skinwalker Ranch and portals. So if you guys are interested in that, you can go back and watch that. That was a few days ago. So we do have one person I want to start with first.
Sure.
Who I promised her, Jocelyn. We ran out of time.
Hi, Jocelyn.
Last time she had a super chat and we told her to come back to us. And so she's back.
Okay.
And she has her dog who's on the other side. And her name is Lucy.
The dog's name is Lucy?
Yeah. So let me just get all the information. She says, hi, guys. I super chatted a couple hours a few weeks ago, but we ran out of time. Messages, maybe from pets. No real questions would be any questions appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And then she followed up with weeks ago. Lucy is my dog. I'm not sure what weeks ago is referring to.
Mm-hmm. When it passed away. When the dog passed away, probably.
So see if you can maybe tune into Lucy.
First thing I want to say, and hi, Jocelyn and everyone else, when we get a mediumship reading, it is advisable that you wait a good 6 months, sometimes in 3, 6 months to a year. But I say 6 months. A lot of mediums say wait a year before you get a mediumship reading or you try to initiate contact with that person who's crossed over. I say 6 months, but I have seen it once in a while happen where it was a few days ago, and I do get a message. That is a rare occasion. Now, what's the reason for that? What I've received messages about, my guides have told me, was that it's like you're acclimating. You are getting acclimatized. Am I saying that right?
That's a fun word.
Acclimatized.
I would love that to be a real word.
I think it is. Is that a real word, Erica? It is. Thank you. See, it's a real word. Acclimatized to being outside of the body, right?
Virgo assistant.
So you have to have that respect for them to settle in. They just got there. So I want to say about Lucy.
So she says, Jocelyn says 2 years passed, weeks.
For super chat. Okay, thank you. 2 years have passed. Good. Thank you, Jocelyn, for the clarification. I immediately get a message, and I want to say this is a very poetic message, but maybe it has some kind of double meaning here. Lucy is talking about being your shelter from the rain. Like she's going to be the umbrella for you. Like imagine an energy like an umbrella over you. And I'm just curious, do you have any umbrellas or parasols? Like people sometimes keep that as designs in their house or part of their decor. Because I think Lucy's giving me this message, there's something more than just the figure of speech of like, I'm going to be sheltering you from the rain. I'd like to know about that. Also, I want to say is that as I'm connecting to Lucy, there is a kind of like a second wind that she's sending you. a second wind that is saying to you, this is not the time to take a back seat. Believe it or not, now you can actually push the pedal to the metal a little bit more. And she's like, and as you do that, know that I'm your co-pilot. I'm riding shotgun and looking outside the window with the hair blowing through the fur, the wind blowing through the fur. Okay. And she's putting her forehead to your forehead, not just the mouth, like we give our animals a little kiss sometimes, but it's the forehead to the forehead. It's a beautiful gesture. Also, she's putting a big light and heart around the month of January. So I'd love to know the significance of that.
So tonight, we're not going to ask people too many questions for them to answer.
Okay, right? Because then they get
I have to
backlogged in the chat, right?
Right. And
okay.
It's really hard for me to keep up with everybody plus new questions.
I have as I open up to you guys, I have things that come to me that I want to ask, meaning messages that come, and then you're going to answer if this matches what you're doing. You were going to say something.
Well, did you want to tell them what you want to do?
What do you mean?
Okay, so that's a no. So
what do you mean? What I want to do?
Well, I thought I cut you off. You were going to say that you're going to offer something.
Yes, I'm going to offer something right now. So, did one of you just take up golf and just like buy golf clubs or sign up for golf lessons? Because there's somebody here on the other side that's talking to me about somebody who's watching here just got interested in this or just like made an appointment to go do this. So, I'd love to know. And if that's you, drop it into the chat. Okay, next question.
Okay, so we're taking care of some people from last time.
All right.
Carrie, high vibes.
That's fair. Hi, Carrie, high vibes.
Hi, last week you guys ran out of time to connect with my dad. You said you'd get to it this time. His name is Hernan. Mm-hmm. Is it Hernan or Herman? Hernan. But he went by Joe in America.
He was born in
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, Boricua. Okay, yes. Give me a moment. Interesting, Carrie. He wants you to, the first thing that he's coming through with right now is he wants you to keep taking photos, keep taking pictures, capturing those memories of now. Like, this is very important. And he's showing me these beautiful frames, even though we don't really frame pictures as much anymore. We have them on our phones. But it is about, he's complimenting you and how you see things. By the way, he's showing me his hands, and I was wondering, was he able to fix things? Was he a guy who worked with his hands? But his hands are beautiful, and they're big, and they're strong, and they're young looking right now. This is the body that he's in on the other side. And also he keeps clearing his throat, like this area of the body. I don't know if there was some ailment here or something, but it's like he is very well and clearing this up and wants to clear things up with you as well. It's like, we are going to have a spiritual relationship now, rather than just me on earth as the physical father. Now it doesn't end there. Now we can develop a spiritual relationship where he keeps saying to clear it up, clear the air. That's what I'm getting so far.
Okay, you ready for the next one?
Yes.
Daniel Schmidt.
Hey, Daniel.
Good evening. I was wondering who my guides are and if they have any messages they want to pass on to me, especially career path that I should be focused on. Thank you so much.
Okay, before I get to that, Daniel, the first thing that jumps out at me is, so you had a lifetime where you were riding trains. This is a past life. This feels very late 1700s, early 1800s. For me, it's also not in this country. So this would have to be, obviously, trains where they're more in Europe. And you were like this, almost like you were going to different towns to help build things. So you were constantly getting on this train. You would arrive in this town. You would tell them how to organize or plan, almost like a city planner kind of thing. And I was wondering if you've ever had any architectural background or anything like that, but this is what you were in that lifetime. And there was a guide that was working with you at that same time. And there's a very, very simple name. The name is William that's coming through. not some fantastical name like Red Eagle or Phineas, but a very simple name. And William is one of your guides. I don't think he was very famous, but he's a very strong spiritual guide. Working with you right now on how to see through when people were, he's saying, when people have been telling you tales, meaning people who have been not so honest with you, not necessarily to take advantage of you or do something negative, but more out of almost like some reason like trying to impress you or something. And he's saying that I'm trying to keep the teller of tall tales away from you, people who are not being as forthright and honest with you. And so he's coming in as like a protector of your energy around you, where he's saying idle talk, people who are doing idle talk. And he's really helping you clean up that area of your life so you have very powerful and direct communication with people. Second thing I want to say to you is there is a spirit animal also working with you and coming in the shape of a beautiful frog. And frog medicine is very powerful shamanically, because though some people actually use the scrapings of a frog to have a psychedelic experience, this is not why I'm talking about the frog. The frog is, again, really like the one that in literature, turns into something, turns into the prince. The frog also has a tongue that's able to grab things out of the air. So this is really about being able to grab opportunities exactly when the moment is right. So that spirit animal of the frog is helping you to exactly at the right moment, and it's happening right now to make your timing perfect. So don't think this isn't the right time. Just be quiet and observe your environment and be aware, and you'll know exactly the right time to, I like to say, pop the question, answer the question, and even ask the right question. Okay? Because remember, there's a couple of types of people. There are those who watch what happened, who wonder what happened, and those who make things happen. Okay?
So do you remember the message that you gave prior to this one?
No.
And you were talking about the
It happens
coughing
like
and
that.
clearing
Yes.
the voice?
Yeah.
Okay. So Carrie says that he was a smoker and he coughed a lot.
Yeah. Well, now it was about clearing that up, and he's saying he's well. Okay? Thank you for sharing that.
Okay. So
What happened to my golf question? Didn't nobody answered?
Erica, if you see anything, let me know, okay?
Okay, another thing that's coming up is, so there's a guide here that is talking about something very specific. There's a person here who was so in France, outside of Paris, there's a place called Versailles where you can go as a tourist to visit. And outside the Palace of Versailles, there's this fountain. And they're talking about this person was at this fountain. That's talking about specific.
That's very specific.
But there's a reason for it. So I need to know which one of you was the one that was taking the picture in front of that fountain outside of
recently?
Versailles. It's in the last, it's either right pre-COVID or since COVID. It's
Okay.
not 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Would you like to take a question from Jennifer?
I would.
Okay, so Jennifer Whitmore.
Hey, Jennifer.
Okay. Hi, Erica, Lady O, and Riz. I adore you all. Well, thank you. My dad, Stanley Bruce Jr., passed away a few weeks ago on November 9th from a heart attack.
Okay.
That's how my dad also crossed. Is there any messages from my guide about my dad? Thank you so much.
Thank you for asking that, if it's a message from your guide. So Jennifer really gets it. Because your dad just recently crossed over, it's usually a guide who may pass on a message. So I asked Red Eagle instantaneously. He goes and you might say he makes some calls and sees if there's a message about your dad, Stanley Bruce.
Okay.
There's also a name Leonard connected here as well. So I don't know what that has to do with Stanley Bruce, but there's a name Leonard connected to him or to you or this family that I needed to talk about. Dad has, he's like, I've put down my planner. I've put down my tool belt. Like he's put down all his organized mind of like having to get things done. And this is like his vacation is finally here. He's finally on vacation is what Red Eagle is telling me about your dad. By the way, when he crossed over, he was he was met by a younger person. So sometimes it's like your dad or your grandparents who meet you, or a friend, but this person was younger than him. There's also the name David connected here. So sorry I'm asking you questions, but it comes up, so I do have to ask. But the crossover, by the way, it was a little rough when he crossed over, I have to tell you. It was a little rough. Nothing to worry about or be sad about. You know, it's like going on a bumpy boat ride, but he got the gist of it. He's a bit of a fighter, so he didn't completely surrender. So the guys had to kind of like really grab him and go chill out, like it's time now, go on the other side. And he was a bit of a fighter, but he's good now.
Okay, so we have a question from Cynthia M. 15 years ago, a voice spoke to me and she introduced herself as Christine. Is Christine a spirit guide, an angel, or star being? Does Christine have a message for me?
Well, it depends on, I will look into it myself, but before I look into it, I want to give you a teaching about it. How that feels in that moment is very important. So how you felt when you heard the voice say, "My name is Christine," and subsequently, if you began to feel that there was something of importance coming from your guide, when your spirit guide initially makes contact with you and you actually realize they're making contact, they don't talk frivolously. You know, spirits who just hang around, they do. You know, sometimes people will use a Ouija board or for whatever reason, or whatever method, and they're to contact a spirit, and they'll think it's a spirit guide because the spirit guide will know something. So they'll go on the Ouija board and they'll say, "Tell me this thing," and the spirit will give an accurate answer. The reason for that is that spirit's just been hanging around listening to your conversations. They're not having access to the divine records or the divine energy, the matrix of information that exists psychically. They're just like an eavesdropper. So they're like, "Oh, I heard them talking about their friend Katie the other day. So I'm going to say, 'How's Katie?'" And the person goes, "Oh my God, this must be a guide." No, guides come through with wisdom that's usually profound, that's spoken or delivered to you in words, or they are leading you into situations where you're having a realization spiritually about something and you're feeling like you're supposed to be there. You're exactly in the right place at the right time. And that is because the guide brought you there. They help you connect the dots of so-called coincidences. That being said, what I'm feeling from the Christine is that, yes, this is one of the spirit team that is working with you. I'm also getting that it would be a very good time for you to reset. Some people call it having an altar. Some people call it having a sacred corner of the house or a space. This would be very good for you. Also, I see she's putting a lot of dried flowers and like potpourri around you and saying, make this fragrant, keep everything floral. She comes from, imagine a woman, the way I'm seeing Christine is that she is showing me, imagine a dress made of all of these white and red roses, and it's in her hair and it's in her jewelry, like her rings look like that, and her entire dress is made of that, and begin to connect to that image.
Wow.
Did you feel that just now?
That was beautiful.
But that's how she's showing herself to me right now. Also, she's helping you in advancement at work. Helping in advancement at work, she says.
So somebody responded to the fountain picture.
Uh-huh.
Christine says, my mom and I took pictures with the fountain in the place that Riz was talking about. My mom passed away in 2017.
There you go. I said right there. It's either pre-COVID or right after. Great. Thank you. And what is this person's name?
Christine.
Wait, we just spoke about the spirit guide, Christine,
Yep.
and the person who said this is named Christine?
Yes.
You see how these little segues happen they're like psychic segues. That's the new show.
Psychic segues.
A division of Psychic Sundays, which is a division of Meta Mystic, which is a division of the Magical Life with Riz MIRZA. Okay. What is her mom's name?
She didn't say.
Well, your mom is clearly giving the message that she is in her queen regal state of being on the other side. And the reason why that was happening, the energy was coming through about that picture, is because that was a joyous moment. But I believe, as Red Eagle is telling me right now, past life in the time of when that building or that palace was actually built. She loves your voice. She loves your voice. The first message I want to get, well, second message I want to give you, she loves your voice. So sing, 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 even if you don't love your voice. She's saying hello to somebody who was military or maybe is wearing a uniform. See, now I'm getting sniffles. Did you hear me sniffle just now? What is that? Is the lights are hot?
No, I think it happens sometimes when you talk because the vibration of talking can make your nose
So now
run.
talking is making my nose run?
I think so.
This is what happens as you get older, I guess. Talking makes your nose run. Oh, that's great.
Well, that's a nice commercial.
Does talking make your nose run? We've got special...
Let's make a product for that.
Join us on Psychic Segways.
on Psychic Segways. There's like... Remember when they came out with a medicine to stop your leg from going like this?
Yeah.
I was like, really? Restless leg syndrome?
But it's true, and it exists. And because I've given birth to 5 children, I've had it. It happens.
You don't have it anymore.
No, I have it sometimes. Have you ever noticed when I'm laying on the couch with you and my legs are like moving?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is.
It's just, okay, but
it happens a lot to pregnant women because I think the nerves are being pressed.
my brothers would have that watching like the game on TV.
No, but I'm not
I thought
doing
it was
this
just
to the feet like you
that's
do.
what they think. What do you mean that I do?
The butterfly feet.
Butterfly feet is another thing they have to make a drug because my feet go like this.
He does little butterfly wings when he watches.
That's good.
his feet go.
Just tell everyone. Next question.
Okay, well, you're the one talking about your runny nose.
I lost both my... Okay, listen, this is serious. She lost both her parents. I've lost both my parents, too. I lost both of my parents.
I was just going to read this one.
Go there first, Leah.
I lost both my parents, my mom, Cheryl, in September 2022, and my dad, Michelle, in November 2021. Do you have any messages from them for me? Thank you.
More Cheryl at the moment, jumping right in. Interesting, we were talking about France and French, and then the name Michelle
it's all kind
came.
of like segueing.
It's segueing. There's always this little trail of
connection. It's
Fruit Loops. I call them a trail of Fruit Loops.
You would.
Can I tell you something about the Fruit Loops thing?
Not until you give a message from...
No, Leah will appreciate this.
Okay.
So every psychic has their own visual vocabulary with their spirit guides.
Mm-hmm.
Some people see numbers and symbols. I see cereals. No, I'm kidding. Sometimes I see things.
You see like cartoons.
I'll see cartoons as symbols. I'll see TV shows that I watched growing up that come to my mind that are literally linked to the message I'm supposed to give. Like there's a storyline in that show that I watched when I was 12 that got embedded in my brain. And then here it is all these years later, I'm giving a reading and that show is popping into my mind. That's specific episode, but it has to do with exactly what this person is. So that's the spirit guide's vocabulary. And literally sometimes I see colored dots, and I'll call them Fruit Loops in my mind, that lead me to what I need to say. Okay? All right. Yes, Leah. So Cheryl. It's like she's singing you a lullaby right now, about sleep and about helping you go to sleep and helping you to relax as you lay your head on the pillow. Is there a special pillow that she had that you have, or bedding or something? She's like, I'm laying next to you, or we lay next to each other when you sleep. I'm seeing about your dad, if there's a message, if they see each other. Answer is yes. Clearly, they're old soul friends. They've done a couple of lifetimes together. She wants to tuck you in at night. She's like, wear cozy slippers, keep your feet warm, have the nice blanket on you, Leah. And it's like she's sharing a meal with you. She's like sharing a meal with you, sharing a cup of tea with you. This is when you can feel her. And to sit there and you can have a conversation with her. She's like, you can have a conversation with me. You don't have to worry about how I am. Just talk to me as you do and She's being funny. She's like, I'm going to respond, but I'll speak more enlightened now that I'm on the other side. She's showing me something very specific about when she was crossing over, what she was looking at. The way I'm going to describe it is ahead of her, but to the right. So that would be, if I'm standing this way, that would be, what's that, 2 o'clock to me. So I'm in the center of the clock. 12 o'clock is here. Then 2 o'clock is like right there. Something she was looking at, or that's where the guide appeared to take her to the other side. Also, this name, Catherine, is being mentioned. Don't know the connection, but just letting you know. Also, the month of April, big heart around the month of April.
Did you give a message from her father?
Whatever I said, I'm not getting much
Okay.
more than that at the moment.
Jennifer Whitmore is following up on her reading. She
Yes.
said, another confirmation. The younger person greeting my dad was my Uncle David,
Thank you.
my mom's younger brother who passed 40 years ago. He was my favorite uncle and my dad's best friend. And she's so happy for that message. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Is this, that's a different person, or did we read that one? No, I think that was a new.
Okay. Yeah, that was another person.
Okay, so Bernadette, how are you? Can you please ask my guides if I had a walk-in soul entering my body during my dark night of the soul? Don't recognize who I am, but I love the new me.
Okay. Walk-in soul entering. If those of you guys who don't know, it's exactly what it is. It's sort of like, without your knowing, a spirit entity comes into your body, walks in. And this sounds kind of scary because you go, well, is that some sort of possession? Excuse me. 2 things I want to say here. Yes, no one is allowed to come into your body unless you give permission. And if that does happen, what you can learn from it is that you're becoming more aware of how to take whatever's occurring in the moment and use it to learn a new skill, a new level of energy, a new way to, it's like throwing you into the deep end of the pool. And I do want to say something. Sometimes a spirit guide will use what I call scare tactics. One of my favorite shows, by the way.
Right? I missed that show.
I missed that show. Scare tactics is so good.
I love the host, too. I forget his name. But he's so
How do I
funny.
forget his name?
I know.
After Shannon Doherty, it was how could I possibly blank on this brother's name?
Yeah,
what is his
he's
name?
so good. I have to look it up.
Oh my God. This is what happens. Like you forget names that are so okay, so anyway, your spirit guides will use these scare tactics to kind of take Tracy Morgan, right? To take on the form of sometimes a shadow to kind of test you, to say, okay, what are you going to do here? Are you afraid of this darker entity that looks darker? Instead of cowering in fear, will you surrender to love and light and just say, okay, what's the conversation, dark entity, that you want to have with me? And almost like the way a sensei in a dojo, in a martial arts dojo, is going to test you with a bamboo stick. They're going to come at you as if they're an attacker to teach you how to defend yourself, or to teach you how to move out of the way, or to teach you how to flow with this interaction. So your spirit guides don't always come with this throwing rose petals or creating gold dust around you. As you get deeper in with them, it becomes a training. Okay. So the answer to your question is, I'm checking in. Absolutely, that happened. And it was a guide, and it was there to upgrade you. The number one thing was also to correct your posture. I also was curious, did your eyesight get better and your hearing get better? Because they're saying they did an upgrade there as well. Good for you. You're very good with details, by the way, they're saying. That's actually is a blessing. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a challenge or a curse that you notice too many things. But they're saying that also they sharpened your physical eyesight, your ability to notice things. Good. It will help you very much in your meditation.
Okay, so Daniel.
I have something, because some more guides are coming through and wanting to share some things here. This is a little bit of well, they're all weird, right? It's funny when a psychic says, hey, I have a weird thing to tell you. It's like, get ready.
Right.
So is there someone out there who had someone that was, you're still holding the book of, this is not really weird. I don't even know why I said it was weird. It's a collection of stamps. It's many stamp books. They're showing me books of stamps. And if you have them, this message from that person is coming through for you. The other thing is, there is someone is saying the name. It's like Sienna. That's the name. Something sounds like Sienna. I feel like that's the person who's still here.
How would you spell that?
I might spell it Sianna, something like that.
Okay.
It sounds like that kind of name. If that's you or connected to you, please let me know. And last but not least, the city of Hamburg, Germany is being mentioned to me right now. It's a very specific location. Someone is connected to that city that is coming through. So those 3 different things, let me know. Drop us a chat.
Daniel Schmidt says, you said earlier one of my past lives was a city planner. Although I don't have a background in architecture in this lifetime, when I was a kid, I would build entire towns for hours on end for my toys.
Wow.
Well, that could have been from a past life also,
Well, that's,
right?
no, that's what he's saying.
Wow.
That's exactly what he's saying. Awesome, Daniel. That does come through. Guys, sometimes there are things that we do as a young child that we do with this fervor, we do with this energy, and we don't know where it comes from, but we get it out in our younger years. A good show to watch is The Ghost in My Child. That scary title, but
it's The Ghost Inside My Child.
Oh, The Ghost Inside My Child, which is about little kids who are remembering their past lives. So check it out. I think you could probably find it on Amazon or somewhere.
Okay, so next question is from B. Petroni. Hello, much love to both. Does my dad, Joseph, have any messages for me? Thank you.
B. Petroni wants a message from Joseph. Well, I want to say this is like a comedian is stepping on stage right now. The curtains are opening up and Joseph is coming on stage like, hey, like, you know how comedians come on? He's like very youthful.
Yeah.
He's got a really nice blazer on. He just wants you to know I'm dressed really nice. He's like flexing for me right now, his energy. And by the way, full head of hair, really awesome, thick hair. That's what he's showing to me. Very, very bright eyes. His heavenly celestial body is exactly the way he wants it, on point, totally lit, coming through.
Wow.
Is there some reference to a garage workshop? Meaning someone who was, you know how people build things in their workshop, or some people do some things. And also, is there somebody there connected to you guys who was like collecting model trains, or, you know what, people have train sets or things? He's talking about that for some reason. Also want you to know that he is kind of he's working as a pathfinder, path clearer for you. It's the kind of a role that sometimes a spirit guide actually takes, but your dad is taking it upon himself to want to work with clearing your path ahead of you. Almost like a gardener, I want to say. You know when those gardeners come by and just, you don't even see the concrete path? Have you seen that guy on Instagram that goes around clearing up people's front lawns? He does it for free. So he does this for a living, like he just landscaping, and he'll knocks on the door, and it's always in a, you know, you can tell the person probably can't afford to do it, or it's an older person who can't get to it.
I've always wondered if somebody would ever end up doing that.
Oh, you have to see it. It's on Instagram. I can't remember the guy's
love
name.
that. I love that.
But
well, you have 3 people that responded to your questions.
Let's go ahead. Let's get to it.
So one of them is from B. Petroni, who we were just talking to.
Yeah.
She said her daughter's name is Sienna.
Thank you.
Taylor also responded and said, my grandmother.
Wait, let's start with the first one.
Okay.
So B. Petroni was the one who was asking about her dad, Joseph. Mm-hmm. There you go. So Joseph is the one saying your daughter's name, watching over her.
Okay, so
I love doing this like this, you know, because this is like my thing, you know, to flow this way.
Taylor Peel says, my grandmother Ariel left me stamp books when she passed. She collected them for years.
Thank you. So grandma is saying hello, and she took it, you know.
And there was someone else with stamps. So I wanted to ask you who, Rogue says, that there was stamps.
It was
So-
about leaving the stamp books. So it was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. To Taylor, you said?
Taylor, yeah.
So Taylor Grandma's just saying, enjoy it. You can pass it on. You can do what you like with it. You can give it to someone. You can, whatever you want. But she wanted to recognize that it has a lot of good energy, magic energy around it. Next.
Okay, so let's go to up here. Okay, right here.
Did you say the stamps part?
Yeah. Thess Lakin.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Or the Slakin.
the Slakin.
I'm just busting your chops.
Hey, do you have any insight from my spirit guide on what I should put the most focus on my life right now?
Very, very good question. Love those questions because you allow the guides to come through. Number one coming through, I'm going to give you the name that's coming through. Give me a moment. How interesting. You know that Abraham Lincoln is one of my guides, right? You know that. One of the first guides I communicated with, but he's coming through right now to give a message. I think he's working with you as well. Focusing on how you are articulating your expression or what you would consider your, I would call it your creativity, but it's not necessarily art. You see, you can be very creative as a business person. It has nothing to do with art. It is how you are expressing and articulating what your ideas are to people. So, yeah, Lincoln is coming through for that. Another thing. Health is important right now to focus on. I do want to say that I feel like you've recently have worked very hard to get something off of your chest or whatever pressure you were feeling upon yourself. It's like you've pushed off half of the weight. So imagine there was 100 pounds sitting on your chest and 50 pounds of it you pushed off of you. And now this is like, get the rest of this off of you. This actually is going back about closer to 8 to 9 years ago, what you've been working on. So let's do the math. What's 8 to 9 years ago? 10 years ago would be 2013, and then 2014, 15, so 2015. Right around 2015. Also, training. Nothing long-term, shorter-term trainings and things that you want to learn. Very, very, you're opening up right now to that. The other thing is, it's connected to the first one, bringing more sweetness to what you are saying. Coating your words with sugar, but not sugar coating them. You know what I'm saying? It's like sugar coating something is like not a good thing, but dusting them with sugar is to make it a little bit lighter, a little bit sweeter. I love what Little Richard said. One time they asked Little Richard, why do you wear so much makeup? And he's like, oh, baby, you got to put a little sugar on it. Ain't nothing wrong with putting a little sugar on it. I've been putting sugar in my eyeliner and everything since I was 14. So
B. Petroni said that he was a sharp dresser and his brother Ricardo is the one who passed.
Amazing.
Okay, so next question is from Buketa. Hi again. It's been an interesting year for me. Lots of lessons, but no improvement. What do my guides want me to know about, and how can I best move forward with my current situation? Thank you.
So when we say that lots of lessons, but no improvement, that means that, what do you mean by no improvement? So I learned the lesson, but I don't see a difference in the outcome of something that's happening? Well, how deep do you want to go with this answer? Because if you're talking about how you're creating your reality, but you still have in mind of how things are supposed to look because you want A, B, and C, it doesn't work that way. So the universe does not work by, I still want my A, B, and C, and I also want to get the spiritual teachings, and I want to use that to get A, B, and C. See, that was really popularized by law of attraction. Not that law of attraction is not true, but it needed to be clarified further. Which is, what you're totally taking out is that which appears for you is for you. You're never going to experience anything that isn't on your frequency. And this is a tough thing for people to get. It was tough for me. It was tough for everyone I've ever known.
It takes years.
It takes
accept
years
that you are creating your reality.
Yeah, Bukita, it takes years. But don't worry here. This is really a time for you to go, okay, take a deep breath and go, okay, there's a deeper teaching here. If everything is on my frequency and I don't like what's showing up, then that means that this is reflective of my frequency.
And everything is for you.
And of course, everything is for you. There's never going to be anyone who shows up who's not on your frequency. If you don't like them, if you do like them, whether it's business or whether it's personal, everything works on frequency. That's what law of attraction is about. So when you say, I learned lessons, good, excellent, you're doing great. You're learning the lesson. You're intellectually saying, okay, I see how this isn't working. But intellectually knowing it, which is learning lessons, and realization are two different things. Realization is so full-bodied that there's no more conscious mind needing to do something in a particular way. It becomes your nature. For example, the best way to be able to quit a cigarette is not to say cigarettes are bad for me. I've learned the lesson that I cough when I smoke cigarettes, so I've learned the lesson. But you secretly still want cigarettes, right? So what you have to do is you have to be able to actually be, in a sense, disgusted by cigarettes, where you go, I can't even imagine wanting to taste that anymore. But that means that you have to now start looking into what your deeper beliefs are. What are your deeper beliefs about what you're supposed to have in life? What I sense with you is that you're right in the middle of getting closer to some great spiritual freedom for you in this coming year. And don't get too caught up of man, I learned the lesson, but nothing's really changed. That does happen. You can work out for a long time also, and then you don't really see the difference until 6 months later, you suddenly notice. But I bet you there have been changes and improvements in you. And I think you're being a little hard on yourself because you're thinking it's out here that needs to reflect back to you, and it will. But what I suggest for you now is you start looking at why you want what you think you want, or why you want what you want. Not even what you think you want. You certainly want some things. But they're going to have to shift, because I feel like your guides are saying you're watering plastic flowers. You would never water plastic flowers, right? How ridiculous would that be?
You know how I told you what my favorite Seinfeld favorite moment with Costanza?
This is our second Seinfeld reference to tonight.
Right. Well, I couldn't get it out of my head once you said it. So do you remember it?
Yeah, it's called The Opposite.
Right. Well, I want to share it with everybody because it really worked for me. When you're at the bare bones and you absolutely cannot find a way to change something in your life. I was watching this episode many years ago, probably 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And Costanza, I'll never forget, I think he was wearing this big red ski jacket, and he comes in, and of course he was complaining and he was upset that nothing ever goes his way.
Right.
Nothing ever turns out, and he's so depressed and he's sick of it and he's over it and he was mad and he storms off. Later on in the episode, he comes back super excited because he had a realization, and he tells Jerry, he says, I got it.
No, Jerry suggested to him. He goes, George goes, every instinct I have doesn't seem to be working out right. I'm not seeing any changes. And then Jerry says to him, well, why don't you just do the opposite? Because if everything you're doing is not resulting in what you want, why don't you go the other way?
And his light bulb went off, and he goes, that's it. That's it. Of course. Why didn't I think of that?
So he starts ordering lunch, and he starts to order the same thing he always eats. Now, pay attention, Bukita and everybody else, to this. Because, art imitates life. And Jerry and Larry David absolutely channeled some of those episodes because they really tell you about human behavior. And this was so insightful. So he's like, why don't you just change how you order? I've been telling people for years, if you want to first start making changes, here's a simple exercise you can do. Go into a restaurant, especially one that you don't know.
Right.
And when they come over to give you the menu, say, hi, I don't need the menu, thank you. I would just like you to go in there and tell the chef to surprise me. And the server is going to be like, but are you gluten-free? Do you need anything? And say, no, don't worry about it. I have no restrictions. Just bring me anything. Well, what would you like to drink? Doesn't matter. Bring me anything you want to bring me. I'll pay for it. Don't worry. I'm not going to send it back. And it's just a little thing I want to try out. Now imagine you completely let go of control and you're hungry. Now, who knows what's going to come in front of you? Maybe you're only going to be able to eat a little bit of what's on the plate. But what about you don't make it into this big dramatic thing and you say, well, I got a little bit of lettuce off of there. Oh, I got a little bit of this, little piece of this that I liked. Oh, this drink's not so bad. But your attention is more now directed to being happy in this restaurant, being happy that you're breathing, being happy to look around. Gratitude, spontaneity, and flexibility, and releasing control is far more powerful than some set intention of, I'm going to work with the law of attraction. No, loosen up, loosen your grip. Don't put more of a grip on things, because then now you're fighting a battle of now I have to see those results in the way that I expect to see them.
Well, I really absolutely got a lot from that episode many, many years ago.
You rock it.
And when I watched it, it was actually more than 20 years ago, but I was in a place where I was so desperate for information, I needed something. And so I did it. I had it set to the next person.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Do you want me to read it for you?
Sure.
Okay. So Chris D.
Hi, Chris D.
First time anything coming through for me.
Wow, just leaving it open like that. Okay, Chris. Hey, there goes Poof, our cat. Hi. Did you hear her say hi? Did you hear her?
She was crying in the bedroom and I heard her.
Because she knows when the podcast is on.
She wanted to come see what's going on.
All the cats want to say hi to you guys today.
Come here.
Chris D.
No.
Okay, here's a message for you, Chris D. There's something on a stereo that's called an equalizer, right? It's in your car settings. A lot of people don't do this, and your guides are telling me that use this as a metaphor, Chris. So on every settings in the audio settings of your car, there's bass, treble. You can move the front speakers or the back speakers, find the balance in between them, left or right, mid-range. It is about, sometimes people go for years and never adjust those settings where they could be having better sound. And the guides are saying now to you, Chris, it's time to go and look into the equalizer and start to understand that there's something that you haven't opened up yet, which could have a much more fuller experience for you. Meaning, use this comparison. Person keeps driving their car, listening to the radio, and it sounds good. Sounds fine to them until a friend comes in and goes, hey, you never put the bass up. You got to pump up the treble. You got to balance the mid-range. And the sound keeps coming from the back. Put it to the front. Simple adjustments by looking into a little bit deeper into how you could adjust things. Because the guides are saying that you're kind of saying things like, well, I can't really change that. I mean, that's fine. There's no issue there. I can't really change that. But start with things like, maybe I should move this chair over there, or maybe I should move the position of this couch. Maybe there's a way to, when you eat slower and you chew slower and you let each bite become more, you savor each bite and you start to feel and taste. You're not just chewing really quick and swallowing. Keep the food in your mouth. Feel the layers of flavor. This is the message coming through for you, Chris, is going more into the layers of things so you can have a better, more yummy experience, because you're all about the yummy.
Okay, you ready for the next one? Yes. Taylor Peel. Thank you, Riz and Lady O, for all that you do. We are so grateful.
You're welcome. Thank you.
May we ask a message from Anne, who was a pioneer in the mental health field, trauma and PTSD. She lost her life to cancer young.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. You know what? It's funny because when you said Anne, I thought of Dr. Annie Besant, who you should look her up. Annie, and the last name is Besant, Besant. She actually was around the Theosophical Society, with Krishnamurti. Go back a little bit further, Leadbeater and Madame Blavatsky, who my channel. Guys, check out my channeling of Madame Blavatsky in my list of videos on the channel. She was a fascinating figure, very much responsible for a lot of the teachings in the New Age community to this day. Madame Blavatsky, look her up. So, yes, go back to that one again.
Right here.
And I'm just asking Red Eagle for a message about this. Well, shooting star energy, Red Eagle says, came to deliver a message and left early. Came to deliver a message, came to show you how it's done, came to show you and awareness, there was nothing. It was like perfection, like personified in this area of moving energy forward. She just came to move some energy forward. It's sort of like Red Eagle is saying, like, you know, when sometimes you're driving on the highway and you see somebody their car gets stuck, and then two people jump out, and two dudes jump out and they help the stranger push the car to the side of the road, and then they get in their car and they drive off. That's Anne. That's what she was doing here.
Wow. Okay.
I got another message. So there's somebody here. It's a gentleman on the other side who worked a lot with a soldering gun. Do you know what a soldering gun is? And I mean like a little one, like when you're doing like a home electronics and like zzz, zzz, working on like transistor radios or working on putting the toaster back together. But they had a soldering gun, and this gentleman is showing me that this is what he liked to do.
Okay.
So if that's your dad or somebody, let me know.
Okay. So Rain Monet. Hi, guys.
I know that name.
Of course.
Okay.
Hi, guys. Anything from my guides at the moment? Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Thank you both.
We had an awesome Thanksgiving. We were trying to make a turkey in an air fryer, but the air fryer was too small. We had to send it back.
I was gonna do it,
but then you were amazing. I have to say something. You did an amazing Thanksgiving. I helped also, but it was all your kitchen. You were like just Gordon Ramsay. Except
I loved it.
Yeah, but and so not fun. Mean, but like, you know, we love Gordon. But you were great, and we just like that turkey. Best turkey I ever had.
Right.
Did you like my yams?
I love them. Yeah.
Candied yams with marshmallows are my favorite.
I just stopped eating Thanksgiving
leftovers
today.
I'm always, I always get like I'll have leftovers, but then I have to have Indian food immediately. I don't know what I need that contrast. Like just like Thanksgiving's done and it's done. Have you noticed something about certain holidays? Like when they're done, they're done. Like done. October was Halloween from October 1st to the 31st, but literally like the morning after Halloween, I was like, it's gone. It's like the great pumpkin came and left, and like the spirit of Halloween came, peaked, and just gone. It was invented.
The great pumpkin.
And Thanksgiving is like that day, and then the next afternoon, and then it's done. Thanksgiving lingers till for leftovers. Was there somebody who answered the thing I was just saying? Or this is about rain?
Yes.
Sure. You have a guide that's showing me imagery right now, Rain, in watercolors. How interesting, just watercolor imagery. I don't think this has to actually do with watercolor paintings like you're supposed to paint watercolors. This is just giving you the feeling of very soft and kind of pastel colors coming through in their energy. She's a wonderful guide coming through. I want to give you the name in just one moment. Valeria, Valeria, Valeria. Valeria. That's how she's spelling it. Valeria. She's talking about your connection to texture, like the texture of the table, the texture of fabric specifically. Giving yourself time now, Rain, to connect to how things feel in touch, to help you to open up your own psychic intuition. That some people are very much about, they feel things through the touch. They call that psychometry, where you can pick up an object and feel the psychic imprint on it or get messages. And look, she wants to talk.
Hi.
Say hi to Rain.
Say hi.
Let's see if we can get her to say something.
Say hi. Say hi.
Oh, you talk all day long, and now the mic is in front of you, and you have stage fright. Okay. You hear the purr? Can you guys hear that purr? Let's be quiet. Turn up your speaker. I'd love to know if you could hear that. Okay. Rain, so it is about getting you more tactile with things, touching things, seeing if you can increase the sensitivity in your fingertips. One thing that would be good for you is in the art of Tai Chi, of Qigong, there are certain exercises that are through the hands and how to activate different hemispheres in the brain. And I practice some of these exercises myself, but you can find them online. And it is about increasing that lightning speed of you being able to touch something and receive an imprint. And you might say, well, I get that too much. this is going to help balance that so that you're not taking on different energy. Okay.
Okay, Jen, will I be transitioning from my career and doing something along my spiritual path? And if so, what direction does Spirit see me doing?
Hi, Jen. Jen, have you had a chance to visit Costa Rica? It's a good place for you to kind of decompress. And one might say, well, isn't that a great place for everyone to decompress? No, not necessarily. Some people decompress going to New York City. Some people decompress going to the backwoods somewhere or the desert. For you, I feel there's some connection there for you. Just a couple of days will do you. Strengthening your physical body right now is actually important. There's a form of yoga that is called Kundalini yoga. And I would recommend you, if you have never done it, learn it. And there's a very powerful form of breathing in there that they teach you, breath work. There's like a breath called the breath of fire, which helps to like really amplify your fire energy and to, at the same time, in a strange way, kind of cool you down too. But it's about strengthening the physical body now and paying attention to how strong you are, how strong your core strength is and flexibility. We are not saying go off in the gym. That is not what I'm saying. I don't recommend that at all. In fact, I think that you need to be very conscientious not to overdo it. So the reason for this is the spiritual work that you're going to do, which the modality is completely up to you, but it requires you to have a strong foundation physically of strength. So that means, and I'm talking about like resistance training, things that Kundalini yoga also has some sort of resistance training in a sense. They make you squat in that yoga and hold that position and doing planks that are strong, building that strength for you. You are very important in your circle of friends. You are kind of like the bright light there. You're the intuitive one. You're the one that sees into them. And you can see very clearly why they act the way that they act. It is very important for you also, though, to really minimize your socializing time. Because you're needing this time alone that is productive time alone, rather than like, I'm alone, what do I do right now? Creating alone time that is productive. What does productive mean? You're working on something? No. What I mean is spiritually productive, meaning even if you're alone and staring at a wall, you know that you are letting go and resetting your energy. And this is very, very important right now. And then anything you do on top of that is going to be like icing on the cake, okay, in your work. But yes, I see the transition over about a year or a little bit over a year.
So Jennifer Whitmore said that her dad taught her wood burning and gave her a smoldering kit. So I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay. And I think you had given a message to her about her dad.
Saying hello about that. Thank you.
Love
that.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes.
Okay. So, Jen, we already just did that one.
Yeah,
okay.
Can I scroll through there and see what feels good? Why don't you share some things that you've been thinking about lately while I go through?
Okay. This week, I was kind of reminded in a really big way that I need to learn when to pause. Hit the pause button and kind of power down. So not just meditate and not just not isolate and not like, do anything like that I used to do, but actually completely just allow myself to completely rest my mind, my body, my thoughts. It's not a nap, but it's kind of like, it's like you're resetting. But it's more like a pause button. That's the only way I can describe it. And so I started doing it. And I have to get used to doing it because I've never really gotten to that point of like that still and that quiet. And it really was rejuvenating. And I was like thinking to myself, people like myself who run a very high frequency, high vibrational, like extremely sensitive, empathic, you feel everything in the holidays and everything going on. It's like you could feel the world, you could feel what's going on. Everything is just like vibing super fast. So it's like feels really good to just hit the pause button and just shut the whole system down to cool the whole system off. I suggest it.
Isn't it amazing that sometimes you take your laptop into this, you can't figure out what's wrong with it. Sometimes at the Genius Bar, they're like, why don't you just shut it down for a day? And somehow, as you shut it down, this problem that we can't figure out and you can't figure out is going to somehow reset and recalibrate by powering down. There's something that's beyond your conscious mind's control, just like your computer has some mechanism in there that just resets due to the lack of bursts of energy going through it, right? I want to address a couple of things. One was to Bukita. She said that she was waiting for a sign. She was going to think of a sign to see, I guess, for whatever, if we were going to mention something, and her sign was a butterfly, and then we mentioned the butterfly feet. I also wanted to say to Bukita, she said, you just want to know if you're on the right path. It's not as simple as that, but I will say this to you. I actually see you being a business owner is the path for you. And that it is more about professional. What are you doing professionally, and getting very excited about that and being driven in that. As you do that, you are going to be attracting in, and the right time, the right partnership, romantic partnership is going to come in as well. But it's about you creating that. Someone else said, yes, Carrie, high vibes. Yes, when he was saying clearing the air, of course, it is about clearing the air. It was about don't feel bad about what happened, about the disagreement, the scuffle. He was clearing the air. Okay, it's done with. It's over. No hard feelings. It's okay. It was just two human beings going off, but the souls are old friends. You guys love each other on a higher level, and let's just go forward with that energy. Okay.
Do you want me to scroll?
Okay, let's see. Hi. I'm going to say hi to Jenny Diaz. How are you, love? Thank you. Yes, I am in the flow. She's like, you're in the flow. Baron has a question. What does he say? Hey, Baron.
Hey, Bob
The
B.
crunch.
Valrico, Florida.
I'm so thirsty. E, would you mind greatly if you would fill that up? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Riz,
dry.
my 13-year-old son Frank has a large birthmark on his side shaped like an arrowhead. Is this from a past life?
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you something so interesting. Okay. So I was having a conversation with someone about past lives. This was just yesterday, Baron. And I got to call you Baron because that's what I'm used to calling you, because you've been on our show a bunch of different times. And I was giving a message about somebody that was sorry. Someone was talking to me yesterday about how there's arrowheads on their land in Colorado. And I said, oh, really? I said, oh, like, so I was saying something about, I said something where I was alluding that they were metal. And I was like, how could they be metal arrowheads, right? It's not like King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table. They're made of stone, those arrowheads. But black obsidian was used
No way.
as arrowheads as well. So it's very interesting. That birthmark is not only, yes, about the arrowhead, but it is a mark. What I'm getting more about is that it is a symbol of protection of his energy. So it's a very magical birthmark. And you might say, well, can birthmarks protect your energy? I've never heard that before. Well, you heard it here now. Yes, there's nothing that's random on your body. Let me continue. What do you got over here? Hold on. I just saw a little light around something. Rain fed. Oh, want to read that?
Rain Monet says, so I just want to confirm what Riz had said about sensitive to touch. I used to be an esthetician and did also. I used to.
Someone is talking about Sekhmet. Look down there. It says something Mystica or something. I see the word Sekhmet. Can you read that?
I feel very calm, peaceful, and relaxed every time I look at female feline, especially cheetahs and stray cats. Are there any messages for me from the Egyptian twin goddesses Basset, and Sekhmet.
So Sekhmet's temple, if you're familiar with Sekhmet, the goddess Sekhmet, guys, it's spelled Sekhmet. And every year for almost a decade, we've been leading or at least more than half a decade, to trips to Egypt. And there's a very special place where there is a powerful temple of Sekhmet, and her energy is so powerful. If you go to, I think it even just might be on YouTube, on one of the videos on this channel, you'll find where I talk about the Egypt retreats, and I will show you the orbs flying on video, mind you, inside this temple that's completely closed off. There's no wind, it's not dust particles, and I go into breaking it down. You'll see orbs coming out from the ground around Sekhmet and changing direction in midair. Thousands of orbs flying around the group as we do a meditation. So go look for that. The answer is yes. So this energy for you is, Sekhmet works with me, by the way. So the connection comes through very fast. Actually working with you on, of course, intuition, because cats are very psychic creatures, and it's almost like they live interdimensionally, that at the same time they're able to be here, but they see through things. They see spirits, they see auras, and this is about that confirmation for you. So I see a lifetime with you where I see healer priestess energy. Interestingly enough, I don't see it in Egypt at the moment, though it could be, but at the moment my guides want me to tell you that it was more South American. You might actually really love to watch the channeling where I channeled goddess Ixchel. Ixchel is spelled Ixchel.
And that's in the 7.
So yes,
guides.
Healer, priestess, past life. I hope that you're using that to serve others in this life.
So we're shutting off the super chats for the night.
Yes.
We're going to take other questions. We're going to answer Bernadette's second question.
Sure.
And we might be shutting down a little bit earlier tonight.
Yeah, just a little bit early.
So Bernadette, will I be a trained medium or shaman one day? What else should I combine with my podcast channel?
Bernadette, remember something about shamanism and mediumship on a larger or more wide understanding of it. A shaman or a guru, the word guru is 2 words, gu and ru in Sanskrit. It basically means, quite literally, someone who takes you from out of the darkness into light, meaning retrieving the wisdom that is within the womb of darkness and bringing you into that birth of yourself. So medium is also that. Shaman is also one who helps you reach your highest potential of yourself and free you from those things, negative experiences or energies that have been weighing you down. So understand something, that just even having a podcast or having a cupcake shop, you see what I'm getting at? It's like the connection to people, being yourself, allowing yourself to be the conduit or the channel through whatever it is that you do. You know, remember that joke I had? I said I wanted to open up an Asian restaurant, call it the ramen shaman. Do you remember that?
No.
How could you forget that? I was like, the shaman ramen, that would be a great restaurant. But then you go in, you just feel good because the food is healing, right? So can you be a shaman at what you do? We need more people to be shamans who are accountants. I would love an accountant who is a shaman, who comes in and heals and works with you. What about people who are a medium, but that they're a medium because they're teaching you how to fix a car? They're able to channel that information to you in a way that's understandable and relatable and easy to remember. So think about it this way, and don't put so much pressure on yourself to do that. It takes a lot of energy to do traditional shaman work, especially if you're working a lot. Of course, you can take it easy and see a few people a week. But look, you're talking about doing something professionally for that vocation to be the thing that supports you. So you're going to have to do it a lot. I mean, we work a lot, and it's because that becomes your vocation, right? But then something you break through, you have a lot more energy, where then you start doing podcasts and start doing readings online. And I almost feel like we're just warming up. We're just warming up, and we've been doing this 15 years, 17 years.
Well, we're going to take one last question for tonight because we are going to wrap a little early tonight. This is going to be for Kayla Jones. Riz, I have felt so lost lately. I feel like I'm a robot on repeat, not even sure about things I like to do anymore. Do my guides have any messages for me, please?
I love that you said things I don't like to do anymore. Oh, that means that you are raising your vibration and you don't even know how it's happening. It's sort of like things don't taste the same, sound the same, feel the same. It's because you are being upgraded. There's a stage in between when you're having your spiritual ascension, your spiritual death, your spiritual rebirth, your spiritual ascension is all wrapped up into one experience. And moment to moment, you'll feel like you're having a spiritual death. The next moment, you feel like the rebirth. The next moment, you'll feel kind of ascended. And then the next moment, you don't know what's going on. Learning how to trust that space. I want to say one thing. Make sure, Kayla, that you are practicing breath work. I recommend breath work more than I recommend meditation. Why? Well, I'm going to tell you something about meditation. Conscious meditation is almost a waste of time. Conscious meditation is almost a waste of time. For the purpose that you're seeking ultimately is a surrender. So if you're just doing the same meditation every time, that I'm going to do this, now it becomes a flex. Now it becomes a skill. I'm going to achieve this state of being, and now I'm in this state of being. Yeah, but it's so easy to disturb somebody who's meditating. So easy. Go push them. Go mess up their hair. Go curse them out.
So mad.
You'll go so triggered.
Yeah, they're right under the surface.
A meditative state of being is a flexibility and a looseness. It's not a holier than thou state. So a meditation is more of a surrender to all that is. So you're not forcing anything in any way. More on this later. With you, it's breath work. So I say talk about breathing because that brings you to a surrender, that brings you to slowing things down and helps you to drop in where it's no longer about preferences and your life no longer becomes about, I like this, I don't like that. Things are affecting you all the time through your environment. You are in your spiritual death, rebirth, and ascension process right now, Kayla. So even if it's, I know it's been going on for more than a year, but it's another year of this, but not the same after you hearing what I'm saying. So keep tuning in here. And I'm always going to be talking about this process because the root of psychic work is not just about messages about how we see what's happening in the future or understanding the past. It's also, and more importantly, how you're creating your reality in the present.
And on that note, everyone. Thank you so much, everybody. We are not going to be here next Sunday night because we'll be traveling. We'll maybe go live and surprise you where we will be.
We'll give you a little surprise.
So we will be the following.
The 10th, right, Erica?
So
much love to you guys. Enjoy the full moon. Learn about it. Go out there. Charge up your crystals. Say a blessing. Welcome the Gemini moon to help you clarify your communications and be that friendly, airy Gemini that's out there